So today I'm going to discuss about the rectangular waveguide cavity resonator. Hope all the students will join at the earliest. Okay. So as we have seen that the rectangular waveguide, the basics of rectangular waveguide we have seen. What is a waveguide? It has been well known to us as of now. There are different types of waveguides we have discussed. That is a rectangular waveguide, circular waveguide, elliptical waveguide, and other rigid and dual rigid there. It depends upon the shape of the waveguide. Hence, it is the name is being given according to it. Okay, and now we have a difference between the rectangular waveguide and the cavity resonator. So together it is being called as rectangular waveguide cavity resonator. So before proceeding this rectangular waveguide cavity resonator, I want to just clear down what is meant by cavity actually. Okay, what is cavity resonator? Then we will apply the concept of cavity resonator to the rectangular waveguide. Okay, now let me proceed. What is enough cavity actually? Suppose the cavity, can you tell me what is meant by cavity? What do you understand by the cavity? Do you have any idea what does it mean actually? Any idea? Generally, general, you can say, generally you can tell me, have you come across the word cavity at any time? General, it's been very simple only. Cavity means it is something like an empty. It has been closed, which has been enclosed. Okay, it is an enclosed surface. Okay, it has been totally enclosed surface. Can be termed as a cavity. Okay, let me explain that. Suppose we can explain this cavity resonator using the concept of a waveguide there. You might have known this cavity, the rectangular waveguide. So this is nothing but we have seen the rectangular waveguide. Okay, and now, so this is the rectangular waveguide. So where in this case, if we approximate, so this cavity in the sense, suppose when the wave is being made to propagate in this particular direction, then it is been moving inside this particular structure and entering it and by moving it in the forward direction. Then if suppose this is the other end of the rectangular waveguide, if we close, this is being short circuited. If this is being short circuited, this is nothing but we can say that this is way it is been approximated. Now we can approximate that this is a rectangular waveguide. Now this particular end, it is being closed away as the wave is being entered. If this other end, the second end, we can say that the terminating end, it is being short circuited, means it is being closed. Okay, then what happens? The signal will be bouncing back. So when it is been bouncing back, then if we close even this particular side also, okay, so initially it was empty there, then the signal is being propagated, then it has been closed at terminating end, then the signal will be bouncing back. Okay, so as it is been bouncing, once again it is been moving towards the input, then by the time it is also shorted, this is also closed there. Okay, then what happens? All the signals which is being propagated, it lies within this structure. Okay, so this is nothing but the signal size being captured, or it is being restricted to stay within this structure. Okay, so then we can say that some energy it is being stored within this structure. So this energy which is being stored. We can call this as a halometallic structure which is being shortened at both the ends. A halometallic structure which is being shortened at both the ends. Okay, so then this particular structure is said to be cavity, where we can call this as it is being used to store the energy. It stores energy. This cavity will stores the energy. Okay, in the in tooth cavity, yes, finally. Space, yes, I'm getting enough responses from your side that that space, we can say that this is enough space which occupies by a structure in which the energy is being occupied into this particular space, whatever it is being provided. Okay, so it will be moving back and forth within the structure. So this particular total structure, in that case, it is being termed as cavity. So this cavity will store the energy. Now we can say that energy, it is being bouncing back to and fro within these two shorted ends. Okay, so that we can call that energy, it is being stored. The cavity is a structure which stores the energy. Okay, it is enough metallic hollow structure which is being enclosed with some energy into it. Okay, so that particular structure can be termed as cavity. Okay, and now as this cavity structure is in the form of rectangular, so this is being called as rectangular waveguide cavity structure. This is being called as rectangular waveguide cavity structure. And now with this cavity structure, if it is being in circular in nature, suppose if we take a circular waveguide, then if the signal is being made to propagate, then if it is being closed at this particular end, and once it is been coming back, even this it is being closed, then we can say that it is also acting as a cavity. So that energy, it is being confined within this structure. This is being termed as cavity resonator. Okay, and it is in the circular form, so that it is being called as circular waveguide cavity resonator. And I'll be explaining why it is being called as a resonator, because there will be some resonance of the signal which is being moving to and fro within this structure. Okay, it will be moving to and fro, and the signal will be resonance. We can say that a resonance. And in what way it is being called as a resonance, we'll see that if the signals is being maintaining the terms of lambda g by 2. Okay, if the signals are maintaining lambda g by 2, multiples of lambda g by 2, then it is being called as the signals is being resonated. I'll be explaining this once again, it's more clear when we discuss about the resonance condition of cavity resonator. Now, according to the syllabus, we have only rectangular waveguide cavity resonator. So we'll see more details regarding this rectangular waveguide cavity resonator. Okay, so to proceed further, coming to the types, as I have explained that this is the cavity resonator. So there are normally two types we have. Coming to the types of microwave resonators, we have two types of microwave resonators. So one is coaxial resonators. We can say that types of microwave resonators. Types of microwave resonators. The first one, coaxial resonators. And second one, we have waveguide resonators. Is the audio and video clear, Andy? Is the audio and video clear? Yes. Fine, and thank you. Good. Okay. You are following then. Good. Then this is being taken as there are two types of waveguide resonators. That is rectangular cavity resonator and circular cavity resonator. Okay. So these are the two cavity resonators we have. And now, as we are having a rectangular cavity resonator in our syllabus, we are about to discuss only the details regarding the rectangular cavity resonators. So it's been very simple topic. Definitely they may ask one a question related to this cavity resonator, a small 4 to 5 lines of derivation we have. Okay, so not to worry, we'll see that in the next class. But today just I am going to give an overview of this rectangular cavity resonator. What does the things we have and what are the modes of propagation in this. So we are going to discuss the details. Okay, now for that, first considering the modes of propagation in the cavity resonators. First, let me explain the structure of cavity resonator in more detail. Rectangular cavity resonator. Let us see rectangular waveguide cavity resonator. Rectangular waveguide cavity resonator. Now we'll see the structure according to the wave propagation of this cavity resonator, where you can see initially we have, so this is the mode of propagation. So this we have okay. So let us approximate. This is X, Y, and Z modes of propagation. In this case, we have, let us assume that this is rectangular cavity resonator. See now, this is the rectangular cavity resonator. We can approximate with any directions. This is, let this be X, this is been Y, and this is the direction of propagation, we can say Z. Okay. Now, with this, as in case of rectangular waveguide, we have approximated only two dimensions, length and breadth. Okay. Now we have the height also. So height, the length and width. So this is nothing but a height or length we can say. Okay. So earlier we have considered that the broader dimension and height we have considered. So this is being taken as the dimension. We can take this. We have taken previously A and B. Let this be A as it is. And this is the B, the height, it represents B. And the length here I am approximating it as, so we have a definite length here. It is being taken as D here. I am considering this as a D. So this is how we can get analysis of rectangular waveguide cavity resonator when it is being placed in coordinate system. Okay. So with this coordinate system, I want to explain, as I have told that the condition of resonator, the resonance conditions I want to explain. Then with that, I'm going to give what is the mode of propagations. It is been taking place. And after that, we are going to discuss the condition or the critical frequency, how it is being resonating frequency. We are going to discuss about the resonating frequency. First, let me explain the condition of resonance. The condition of resonance. Condition of resonance. So for that, as I have told that it should be multiples. The condition of resonance, it is nothing but it should be multiples of, here you can take this D. The condition of resonance, it can be taken as D is equal to P into lambda G by 2, we can say. So this is the modes. D should be multiples of the lambda G by 2. Okay. So I am going to give an example how it is being approximated. What does lambda G by 2 and how the multiples it is being going to take place. So for that, so let me explain. If I take, when the signal is being entered here, assume that the signal which is being made to propagate in this particular direction, it is being given like this. See, this is the wave is being propagated, and we can say that this particular thing, it is nothing but lambda G by 2. So this particular half wave, it is being considered as lambda G by 2. Then it is fulfilling the condition. Now here P is equal to 1 here. So as P is being equal to 1, then we can say that it is the condition of resonance. Okay. So it is satisfying the condition of resonance, so that we can say that it is cavity resonator. Suppose if the other case, then it can also be take like this. So now you can see this particular diagram where from here to here, it is being taken as, what is this wavelength? Can you tell me now? What is, if the structure, if the wave, it is being like this, what is the length of the wave? Resonant length. What is the resonant length? Can you tell me? Lambda G. Yes, Andy. Good. It is 2 lambda G by 2. So it is been 1/2, it is being taken. So it is half, it is nothing but lambda G by 2. Now it is 1/2 and it is the second half. Totally how many lambda G by 2s? There are 2 lambda G by 2. It is 1 lambda by G by 2. It's another lambda G by 2. Okay. So that there are 2 lambda G by 2s we have. So that lambda G by 2, so that this is being taken as lambda G. Okay. So this is being given as lambda G. And there is one more thing we have. There might be possible that if the wave, I am going to draw, this is for a general case. If I have another one, so let me approximate that. If there is one more, if we have like this, I'm not going to draw complete once again. I'm going to explain this. Now, if it is been like this, okay. Now, if the wave is being given like this, now can you tell me what is the wavelength of this? This particular structure. From here it is been coming, and it has been going like this, and once again it has been coming like this. What is the wavelength of this particular signal which has been resonating within the waveguide? So this is the waveguide structure only. As it takes time to draw, so that I have drawn like this. This will be like this. Okay. 3 lambda G by 2. Good, Andy. Yes, fine. Any other answers? How many we have? So 1/2, second half, and third half. So totally 3 halves we have. So lambda G by 2. How many lambda G by 2s are there? 3 lambda G by 2. So this is being called as condition of resonance. It should fulfill the condition here. Then we can say that this is satisfying the condition of resonance. So that's what it depends upon the D. So that I have written this D is equal to P into lambda G by 2, where P takes the values of 1, 2, 3, and so on. It has to fulfill the condition. And this is the condition of resonance. Okay. And we have the resonating frequency, before going to the wave equation, we have some small wave equations. So before going to the mode of propagation, I want to clear that what is the resonant frequency. A small condition is being given for resonant frequency, and this resonant frequency is being given within a simple expression based upon the modes of propagation. And here the resonant frequencies, it is being taken for, there are modes. So as we have seen, there are TE and TM modes. Now here we have, there are 3 dimensions we have. So it is 3EMNP, and similarly we have TMMNP. So there are 2 modes of propagation in case of cavity resonators, because there are 3 dimensions here, A, B and C. Okay, so here we can take here as M, we can say, and it takes the value of N and it takes the value of P. So that's what M, N, P, the modes of propagation. A, B, D are the dimensions. So there are, which leads to 2 types of modes of propagation. Now the resonating frequency for this particular resonator, it is being given by the expression as the condition for resonating frequency. The resonant frequency is being given as 1/2 root mu epsilon. We have M by A, same whatever we have written there, we have 2, but here we need to write 3, M by A whole square, N by B whole square plus P by D whole square. It is under root, and this is in terms of hertz. So this is the expression we have for resonant frequency. Please do remember, and they'll be asking problems based upon this. So this is the condition of resonant. Okay, same as we have done for the case of rectangular waveguides. Only 2 expressions were there, M by A whole square plus N by B whole square. Now we have the third also included, because it is a cavity resonator and it has the dimension D also. So this is the mode of propagation we have. Okay, so generally there is a condition that what is the dominant mode in case of TE for waveguides and rectangular waveguide? For rectangular waveguide, what is the dominant mode of TE and what is the dominant mode of TM? Please let me know. Good, I am getting the answer. Fine, still. Yes, good. Still, I'm waiting for your answers, Sandy. You should be familiar now. Within seconds, you should be able to tell the answers, because my mean is to understand the concept, not to bahad the things. Yes, fine, good. All whatever they are giving enough individual message has been correct, Andy. I want such initiation. Fine, good, and okay. So we have seen in case of TE, yes, good. TE10 is the dominant mode. In case of TM, TM11 is the dominant mode. And now here we have 3 parameters here, TEMNP and TMNMP. So I'm first discussing about the TE case. So TE, here the dominant mode, it depends upon the dimensions. If it fulfill the condition here, the condition here that B dimension should be less than A and A dimension should be less than D. See here, if a cavity resonator which satisfies this condition, B dimension, this is nothing but B dimension, B should be less than A and A should be further less than D. So B, C, B, A, D, if it satisfies this condition, then the dominant mode for such cases, it is being taken as TE101. TE101 is the dominant mode for the rectangular waveguide cavity resonators if it fulfills the condition. Normally, this condition is being fulfilled because we want the rectangular cavity resonator, always it will be of fulfilling this condition. Okay. And now that's what I mean to say, that B less than A less than D. So this is the condition of resonator. And apart from this, we have a small quality factor. So I will be discussing with that quality factor, and I will be winding up the class. Okay. Today, unfortunately, we have logged in the case, so that don't want to extend this. No need to join once again. If the meeting gets winded up, so no need to join once again. We'll continue in the next class. Okay. So now with a small parameter quality factor, I'll be doing that. So that's what we have explained, and I'll be revising this once we finish the quality factor topic over there. And it's been very simple. Okay. Now coming to the case of quality factor. It is the quality factor. Now, this quality factor, it is been given as being Q. It is been same, whatever we have discussed in the case of rectangular waveguide. So that is for the strip lines also we have discussed the same quality factor. It depends upon the type of structure for which we are going to do that. What is the quality factor of waveguide is been somewhat different. What is the quality factor of micro strip lines? It will be of different. And the way of approach will be different, but ultimate goal is to measure the quality of its initiation, to what efficiently the signal will be propagated. So that is being measured by this the quality factor. And in the case of the cavity resonators, the quality factor is being given by an expression. It is defined as the quality factor. It is being defined as, I told that what is meant by cavity, Andy? Can you give me any single word definition? Cavity. What is meant by cavity? Space which stores energy. Fine, empty space which is enclosed. Gaps are space. Fine, Andy. Good answers. But it's not only the space, it has some energy into it. Okay. So the resonator, the cavity is being one, is the enclosed surface which has energy, it is within it. Okay. So that is being given as cavity. So now the amount of energy stored, it can be to measure the quality factor of cavity resonator. So it is being given as 2 pi into maximum energy stored, 2 pi into maximum energy stored divided by energy dissipated per cycle. Energy dissipated per cycle. Energy dissipated per cycle. So this particular formula or definition gives, it measures the quality factor. If the energy dissipated is been less, then normally or usually the quality factor will have a higher value. Okay. So that's what it depends upon the energy dissipation into the cavity resonator. So how much it is been storing to maximum, it has to store. There should not be any, the energy dissipation should not be there. Under such case, we can say that the quality of that particular resonator is very high. So that is how we can measure the quality of the particular rectangular waveguide cavity resonator. So it holds. So this is how we can define the condition of resonant frequency and the condition of the quality factor measurement. And generally, as I have told Okay, fine. So we too have a dominant mode in the case of in this case of cavity resonators. I'll be discussing that. It is symbol equation we have, and I'll be giving while revising this. So this is how the topic we have discussed today. So first we have let me revise whatever the things we have discussed today. Now the first case we have seen about the cavity resonator. What is meant by cavity resonator? It has been explained, and then based upon the structure here, if it is cavity is nothing but it stores the amount of energy within it. When it is been the two ends has been shortened over here, then it is been storing the energy within this particular enclosed surface. Then this entire thing is being called as cavity. If the cavity structure is been rectangular in shape, it is being called as rectangular waveguide. If it is been in circular shape, it is being called as a circular cavity resonator. Okay. And where coming to the types of microwave resonators, whatever it is been available. So we have a coaxial resonators and waveguide resonators. Now, in case of waveguide resonators, we have further two types. One is rectangular cavity and second circular cavity resonator. Now, let us see the cavity as we have only this in the syllabus. So that coming to the rectangular cavity resonator, so we have discussed in detail. So this is the enclosed surface of rectangular in shape. Then we have seen the mode of propagation, how it is being taking place, depending upon which we can say that it satisfies the resonant condition. So with this resonant conditions, we have seen an example. This is lambda g by 2, which satisfies the condition of resonant here. And for this case, it has been 2 lambda g by 2. 2 gets cancelled. Then we get only lambda g. And that is fulfilling here once again the condition. And if there are 3 half waves, which is being there, then in that case, we can call that as 3 lambda g by 2. So in such a cases, then we can say that it is fulfilling the condition of resonance. So this is the condition of resonance. If apart from this, then we can say that it is not satisfying the resonant condition. Okay, it has to fulfill this particular equation. Okay, and after that we have entered to the mode of propagation. So in the mode of propagation, there are two types it has been possible. One is TMNP and TMMNP, and this is the expression used for calculating the resonant frequency, as there are 3 modes here. Okay, and based upon this, we have seen the mode of propagation. For TE, it was TE10 dominant mode, and for TM, it is TM11 is a dominant mode. But whereas for the case of cavity resonators, TE101 is a dominant mode, and that is the case only when it satisfies this particular condition. And it has also that the dominant condition we have, the dominant condition is D is equal to lambda g by 2. So whenever it satisfies the condition D is equal to lambda by 2, and that is the dominant condition, we can say this one. So that's what only this, it has been fulfilling the condition as D is equal to lambda g by 2. So this is the dominant mode where we have only 2 here, M and P. Only M and P we have, N it has been 0. So this is being considered as a dominant mode. Okay, for the case of cavity resonators. So that's what we have discussed. And later on, we have seen the last one, the quality factor. And the quality factor, it can be measured as by taking the total maximum energy stored within the cavity, that is 2 pi, and here the energy, amount of energy dissipated. So by using this expression, we can calculate the amount of quality factor, to what quality the signals is being propagating into the cavity resonator. So that's all we have discussed. In the next class, almost all, we'll be finishing this unit and example problems already we have solved it. We can cross check whatever the topics have detailed here. Each and every maximum, each and every topic have covered this. Okay, so in most probably I have covered the problems also. The next class, some wave equations we have. That's what I have told, that